What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Life Coach Zach podcast. Today, I have a very special guest, David Birtwistle from Too Hot to Handle. If you don't know, Too Hot to Handle, it's a show on Netflix. Super interesting show. Watched the both seasons myself. And on this season of the podcast, I'm going to be interviewing and discussing mental health with a lot of reality TV stars. So, David, welcome to the podcast. How you doing today?
Hey man, thanks so much for having me, mate. Honestly, it's a pleasure to be here. And the topic that we're talking about today is so important, so relevant, and something which I think that as guys, we should be talking more about.
Absolutely. So what does mental health mean to you, David?
I think mental health ranges. Like you've got it's a massive spectrum, right? Like mental health starts at depression and suicidal tendencies and goes all the way up to high performance. It's essentially how is your brain performing in your body, and it's physical health is the same thing, right? It's like physical health ranges from being bedbound to being an Olympic athlete, and mental health for me is it's the same thing.
Dude, well said, brother. Dude, you know what? It's so you articulated your thoughts so well, because when I ask people what mental health means to them, I've never heard that answer. And it was, it ranges all the way from depression and suicidal thoughts to being an extremely high performer. And you made it an amazing comparison to an Olympic athlete. So mental health for you, we're going to get into a little bit about your mental health situation prior to the show, during the show, after the show. But tell us more about how you focus on your mental health today.
For me personally, I'm a very driven individual. So my mental health is about how can I make the most of everything that I'm doing? How can I listen to my body, listen to my mind, and then act upon it? Back when I was younger, it would have been kind of pushing out any signs of weakness. As a man, I'd be like, no, I don't want to be seen as weak. I'm strong. Like, I've got this covered. I don't need your help. Whereas now, like, I listen a lot more. So if I'm feeling anxious, I'm like, why am I feeling anxious? Like, what is going on that's kind of caused that? But then I'm very pragmatic. So if I feel that emotion, I'll be like, okay, that's caused because this part of my life isn't aligned to this part of my life. And so I need to solve that problem. And essentially, that's how I kind of see things like that. Like, your emotions are simply triggers for things that are going on. Sometimes it's not straightforward. We're trying to figure out the things that are causing this malalignment of your emotions, listening to them, and then acting upon that.
Amazing. Dude, I got to tell you, and not that it means anything coming from me, but kudos to you and snaps to you, brother, for your awareness. Your awareness of your thoughts, your awareness of your emotions, your body awareness, right? It's a simple concept, but I feel like a lot of us don't really cultivate this awareness around what we're thinking every day or how we feel. Like, how does our stomach feel after we eat a shitty meal? How does our mind feel after we scroll through Instagram for 20 minutes? How things like this, really checking in with our body, checking in with our mind, checking in with our spirit, right? And then proceeding accordingly from there. So when it comes to your mental health, clearly you have unwavering awareness. But what are some of the micro tasks? Like, what are some of your daily or weekly non-negotiables that you do for your self-care and mental health?
I have to be active in some capacity. That's something that really, really is important for me. So like I go to the gym a lot. That's, one of the things, and especially in London at the moment, it's cold and it's dark. So like outdoor activities are quite difficult to do Monday to Friday. So I go to the gym almost every day. That's like my release, my opportunity to strengthen my bond with my mind. Like, the gym is an opportunity for me to test myself and see that in a life where lots of things are very easy and comfortable and simple, do I still have that mental resilience and fortitude to push myself past the limit of where I think is possible? To every time I go in there, do I listen to that thought in my brain that's like, it's quite cold today and it's quite heavy that way, and are you really sure you want to do that? Or do I listen to the other part of my brain that's like, David, you're a fucking animal and you're going to do this and you're going to make it fucking work and you're going to just go, mate. And that's kind of like, there's two sides. And every time I get to that point where I'm like giving in, I'm like, don't be a little bitch, Dave. Come on, you are better than that. Pick up the weight. Let's go. It's like every time you make a decision, it reinforces in your head who you are. Are you
Mm-hmm.
the kind of person that gives in, gives
Mm-hmm.
up, and walks off? Or are you the kind of person that digs in and gets shit done? And so
Mm-hmm.
for me, the gym is an opportunity to embody that mindset that then I can try and take into other areas of my life. So that's definitely one thing from a very kind of physical perspective. But then with the mindset, the thing that really I need to do for my own mental health from preventing the negative sides happening is moving forward. I have to be moving forward in my life. That's the big thing that I've recognized is if I feel stagnant, if I
Mm-hmm.
feel like work isn't progressing or my relationships aren't progressing or I'm not growing as a person, then I get anxious, I get nervous, I don't like that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that just doesn't align with me. So I can't go and sit on a beach for a week. That doesn't work. Like I have to be doing something, gaining something,
Right.
trying something. Like I'm the worst person to go if you want to chill because I'm like, there's no chill. I'm like, let's go surfing, let's go hiking, let's
Mm-hmm.
rent a car, let's go get some scooters, let's go swim with sharks. Have you ever jumped off that cliff? Let's go. You know? So that's kind of the things from two ends of the spectrum.
Yup, dude, exactly. Now, a lot of your followers and a lot of your fans, they know you in the physical health space, right? And you're, I don't know exactly, you're a physical trainer and you got a lot of stuff going in the physical health space. But I think a lot of your fans and a lot of followers are going to listen to this podcast and they're going to see a different side of you because your mental health and your mental fortitude and your emotional intelligence is really showing right now because when you talk about hitting the gym and doing that every single day, and maybe you might not want to do it because it's cold out or you might not want to lift the weight because it's heavy, your thoughts are trying to protect you, they're trying to keep you safe, but acknowledging those thoughts, hey, look, maybe I don't want to do that, but I'm going to do that. Using your free will, exerting your free will, your consciousness, right? Your ability to think, your ability to control, your ability to choose. You choose success. You choose greatness. You choose all of these things. And I want to give you props again, dude. I really respect that and admire that about you. Now, let me ask you a question. Where did you learn all this stuff? Obviously, mental health is a journey, and it's not one book or one meditation or one yoga class that kind of flipped the switch. But what were some life-changing books or anything that you learned that really kept you going on this journey with strong mental health?
Like you said, it's a journey. It is not one specific thing. I was quite fortunate to play rugby as a teenager, and from being in that environment, I got schooled by the coaches and kind of really ingrained that work ethic into it because if you're an athlete of any kind, if you want to be successful, you have to work really really hard, you have to work very smart. And so kind of having that background set me up quite nicely. But then it's really been having conversations with my male friends. It's normalizing when you're not feeling great, and that's okay. And it's normalizing all of those other things that are going on in life and not trying to be an egotistical wanker. And it's not like you're not trying to put on a bravado. It's just honestly been having conversations with guys that I respect and breaking down those barriers. And that's been probably one of the biggest turning points in my emotional journey, in my
Mm.
mental health journey, is recognizing that. And then once accepting it within myself, being an ambassador for it amongst other people and having
Mm-hmm.
conversations and owning my shit. And it's funny because like every single time you own your shit, you like take control of it more and more, right? Like every time you admit something that you were once insecure about, you become less insecure about it and you become more secure about it and you own it
Mm-hmm.
more and you become more
Mm-hmm.
confident. And so it's just like by having conversations. Simply it's been by having conversations and becoming more aware and owning it, and that's the progress.
Amazing. You know, I really, really resonate with that because when I do these podcasts and I have conversation with psychologists and psychotherapists and nutritionists and therapists and people that specialize in mindfulness practices and emotional intelligence and reality stars like yourself who really have a good mental strength and mental fortitude, it really gives me an extra point on the board as far as my journey. So it's just like you know, it was the relationships that you had, it was the conversations that you had that helped you continually progress. And for me, it's the podcast. For me, it's this show.
Yeah.
For me, it's coaching my clients. It's that accountability, that responsibility, that obligation I have to my followers, to my clients, to the people that I speak with to continually make progress because those small wins consistently executed over time amount to massive results. So let's transition into Too Hot to Handle, right? Tell me about your mental health prior to going on the show Too Hot to Handle. Where were you at?
I was pretty good, to be fair. Like, I was in a good place. I was having a good time. I was enjoying single life in London. You know, I had all this energy and excitement, and I was just living my best life. So before going onto the show, I was in a really good place from a mental health perspective. Work was great. I was happy.
Good. Good. Now, ego wise, right? This is something that we're going to be super transparent and vulnerable about. Like, we all build up this ego. For me, and I know you don't know much about me, but when I was on Big Brother, I came out of the show with a ton of followers and I had a lot of attention, articles written about me, just like yourself, and it got to my head. And I became an egotistical, narcissistic, pretentious douchebag. I made a lot of terrible choices and actions, and I spent my money trying to impress people at the club. This is my story about how I got into this because when the next season came around, and people stopped caring about Zach from Big Brother, I got super depressed because I was identifying with this funny guy on Big Brother, you know, but that's not really who I am. I'm Zach, you know, I love being at the beach and I love reading books and I love meditating and I love getting better, personal growth, self-development, all the likes. So that was my story. My ego got really inflated. Tell us about how you were coming off the show. And did you have, actually, let me backtrack. Did you have any ego going into the show?
There was definitely some ego, but not as big. It had already started to deflate a little bit as I was going into it. You know, I think more so it was just like when I was a teenager or when I was younger, I had ego to cover up insecurity. But then I read the book "Ego's the Enemy." And
Mm.
that book really, really helped,
Is that
and
Ryan
it gave me
Holiday?
a lot of. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I don't know if I've got it here or not, but oh no, I listened to it. I listened to the book. I'm much better at listening to books rather than reading them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was really good. That was really eye opening, and so it definitely helped a lot. But I think like having the right people around me made such a big difference because I came out of the show and I knew I was like, my mum and dad are going to watch this, so I have to behave in a certain way when I'm there. And then when I come out, like I don't swim in the circles with other people really that have done shows or anything like that. I swim in circles with very down to earth people that have like built businesses themselves or are like, you know, just trying to get through life. And it just doesn't work. It just wouldn't have worked. I think there's also a difference in London or the UK versus America with the whole reality scene. And like if you've been on TV and stuff, like the UK public just don't put up with you being egotistical. You just get shunned.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely had to try and keep myself as firmly grounded on the floor
Good.
as possible. But I kind of understand. Like I can see how if if you've done a show and you identify as that person from the show, that it can be hard to really identify as who you truly are because you kind of get your identity lost in that experience because it's
Right.
the truth is it's not your whole identity, it's just something you did, right? It's just a thing
Right.
you did, and it was your part of your identity for a bit obviously, but like now you're like living truly into yourself and you're not trying to be anything you're not, right? And that's the thing which I think a lot of reality stars try to be something they're not because their ego gets blown up because shit gets done for them and given to them, and
Mm-hmm.
you know things kind of become easier.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I think that if you surround yourself with the right people, then you just start to see what's valuable,
Yeah.
and that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question, and you don't have to say any names, please. I'm not trying to put you on anything. You don't have to say any names, but have you seen people from your show or people in the reality scene that let their egos get too big and get the best of them?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
And you don't have to answer it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, right. So it happens, man. And again, I'm the epitome of it, dude. Like, I thought my shit didn't stink, bro. I thought I was God's gift to earth. I thought I was better than everybody because I had more followers and people were paying me to show up to places and I was on TV and everything happens for a reason. My show was over 6-7 years ago, long time ago, right? And I've grown a lot since then. I'm 31 years old now, and everything happens for a reason, and it's the reason why I'm where I'm at today. And I don't have any regrets or anything because, like, we're just learning. You learn and you live, and it is what it is. And reality TV, it really gets the best of us, especially us Americans that we're on, brother. Look, my alarm just went off to practice checking in with myself. But a lot of us that have been on reality TV, especially Big Brother and Survivor and all these shows on CBS, The Bachelor, Bachelorette, you come out the show with 1 million followers, people engaging with your stuff, right? But then as time goes on, right, you really got to form a new identity because they don't care that you were on the show anymore. You got to bring value in a certain way. And David, dude, you are doing it. You are doing it. You're bringing immense value to the people that follow you, and physical health is something that's super important. It's something that we got to keep a priority. And mental health, like you said, is and mental health is, it goes hand in hand. Is there anything that you want to say to the audience? Is there anything that you want to leave with the audience today? Something they may not know about you, something that they got to check out about you, anything at all?
I would say that one of the phrases that I live by in my life is, if you never try, you'll never know. If you never fail, you'll never grow. And that is just this sentence that I came up with because to me it symbolizes and it represents my attitude to a lot of things. I want to look back at my life and be like, I gave it a good crack. I had a fucking good go at it, didn't I? And I don't want to be like, oh, I could have done that or I should have tried to do that. Mm-hmm. I'm like, if you never try it, you will not know if it was good or bad. So give it a go at least once and probably twice just to know that you were right the first time. And then
love that.
The other part, if you never fail at something, you're never going to grow from it. We are not perfect and we have to learn things, and failure is all part of that. So fucking give it a go. And if you fail, it doesn't really matter, because you're going to come out of it a stronger person.
That's it. Live life with no regrets. Live life with no regrets. David, thank you so much for your time today. To all the people that are listening on Apple or Spotify podcasts, feel free to subscribe, leave a review. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for sticking around up until this point. I'm going to drop the link to David's Instagram and his business below. Thank you so much for watching, David. Thank you again for your time out of your busy schedule to hop on the Life Coach Zach podcast with me. It was great watching you on Too Hot to Handle. I wish you nothing but the most health, wealth, success, and happiness for the end of the year and the year coming up.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, mate. And all the best to you as well, man. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Talk to you soon. What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for being a loyal listener of the podcast. If you haven't already gotten my first book, Live Better Now, it's officially out on Amazon.com. I want to give a huge thank you to everyone that's already purchased the book, reviewed the book, or shared it with friends and family. It really, really means a lot to me. Thank you guys so much. Go ahead and visit Amazon.com and purchase Live Better Now.